Have you been feeling like you've lost motivation for something in your life and you just want to regain it? Then this episode is for you. Hello, lovely dynamic women, and welcome to the Dynamic Women podcast. I am Diane Rolston, your host, and today I'm going to talk about regaining motivation. Maybe you had motivation in the past and you don't got it now. And I'm going to share a little bit more about how I got fired up again for soccer. So there are a lot of pieces to this, but I'm really gonna like bare my soul, I guess, in my soccer journey. I have played soccer since I was very, very little. I have played indoor soccer, outdoor soccer. I play all the time. I played club. Before that, I played, just whatever rec league, and then I moved into playing competitive, playing for select teams, being on rep teams, being captain, being MVP, being in tournaments, like the list goes on. And I still play. Though injuries, tearing my ACL playing rugby, getting it repaired, having children, gaining weight, there's a lot of things that I've had to face. And maybe you've had to face something. It doesn't have to be sports related. It could be in your business, it could be in your marriage, your house. You just lost motivation for some reason or another. And, moving from a highly competitive league as an adult into a league that's more for recreation, I lost my motivation a little bit because I didn't have to try that hard to do well. And even after kids, I could still kind of get away with not being super fit and not doing too much because the players aren't skilled. Well, I'm now 43. I've now had two kids, and I'm now probably carrying around probably about 50 pounds of weight that if I was to run around at a lower weight with a weight vest on, which I've done in different sports just for training purposes, it'd be really hard. And I have, over the past few years, had multiple injuries. Ankle injury, knee injury, back injuries, that then causes something else. Just as my ankle gets fixed, it would cause something else. And then I was with my family, going for a walk into the village, hadn't been in the village yet on this trip, and I sprained my ankle just walking down the concrete sidewalk. And I cried not out of pain, I cried out of frustration. And I thought, what is the point? What is the point? Just as I am like physically not injured anymore, I get COVID. And with that first bout of COVID, I had the COVID cough for probably 8 weeks. And because of how intense everything was, I couldn't get any support from doctors because I wasn't allowed. You know how it is, right? You have to fill in the form. And if you say you're coughing, then you can't come. And so I couldn't get help. And I wasn't really able to be on the soccer field because I'd be coughing. And so people would look at me and like I shouldn't have been there. So I get over that. And then I come back and I get injured. And, you can just imagine how the story is. And I'm super frustrated. And I've lost motivation because I almost feel like, what's the point? Maybe I'm done. Maybe I'm not to do this anymore. But I missed out. And I want you to think about, like, what's that thing you need motivation on? Like, what are you missing out because you don't have it? Maybe because you don't have that strong marriage, or maybe because you don't have that clean house, or you don't have that book finished. What are you missing out on? What I was missing out on was that competitive side of it, the person who loved to play soccer, but also the social side of things. It killed me to just go to a game and sit on the sidelines because I could see all my friends out on the field and they were enjoying themselves and I wasn't a participant. So I lost motivation. Totally lost motivation. And not even just motivation to play soccer, but motivation for me to get healthy again. Because I am now at almost 3.5, 4 months still off from my second bout of COVID. And so it's made all of these like comebacks super hard. Have you felt that? Like your comeback maybe from something, your getting back into business, going to that next level. It's a struggle. And I've struggled, and it's hard to get fit if you're always injured. It's hard to lose the weight if you can't exercise. It's just this vicious cycle. So, how did I get fired up again for soccer? Because the motivation was not coming internally from me. It wasn't intrinsic. I really needed to have some sort of external motivation to push me. And it shouldn't be surprising what it was, but it's really, really positively impacted me. So I wanted to share this with you. You know, I switched teams, and I loved the girls in my previous team. We had a lot of fun when we were able to all be there and play together. But what I was missing was a coach, a team coach. And so now that I'm on a new team that has a coach, I've really seen how this has increased my knowledge. Now, what are the reasons? Because no matter what it is in whatever part of your life, I want you to have that opportunity to think about, what do I need that can externally motivate me until I can get my own internal motivation? So here are a few things that have been a positive piece on me. Positive feedback. I feel like I'm playing at maybe 25% of my ability, which is super frustrating because I'm very competitive and I'm A-type and driven, and when I can't do very well, I'm also a recovering perfectionist. When I can't do really well, it frustrates me. But I've given myself a lot of grace. But what the coach has done for me is giving me positive feedback, right? You're an asset to the team. You're doing this well, and you had a good game. And that has helped me a lot to feel like I'm a valuable member of the team and that I matter. And that maybe in your life in some area, you don't feel like you matter. You maybe are coming to grips with that feeling of my effort isn't important. And so having that positive feedback from him has caused me to be like, okay, yeah, okay, now, like, it's one thing that I'm not as good as I was before, and I'm getting better. And but to hear that you're an asset to something really pushes you to step up and step into what other people see for you. So you could find this in a friend, in a mentor, maybe in an expert to support you with something, in an accountability partner, maybe, obviously in a coach, in different people, but having that outside person give you that positive feedback is so helpful. And yes, I do get the don't do that, or don't do, we shouldn't be doing this. So that's the first piece, is that positive feedback. And I really appreciated that in sports my whole life. Also, probably the greatest gift my mom gave me was giving me positive feedback, really building up my self-esteem, building up my confidence. And so it makes me want to participate more. And when you want to participate more in something, you do it, right? So the second thing is, he sees in me what I need to hear. And I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I have always been the top of my game in sports. I've always been to be the top player, one, or at least one of the top players. I've always been looked at as the MVP, and so I haven't. I feel like it's like I'm a detriment to the team. I know I'm not. He sees in me like a new position. So he was so great because I have been center mid, and he moved me over the years based on my injuries, lack of fitness, and such. Been moved to defense. I was really struggling recently and coughing during the games. He put me in a new position. And so when someone externally sees in you something different, something new, and suggests that you try things in a different way, it gives you that new spark, that new fire. It was so great. I was like, okay, cool. So this isn't working for you. How about this? And that's something that a coach can do for you, or a mentor, or someone else. They can look at where you at, what's not working, what are the obstacles here. And so what's not working is me pivoting quickly and being able to race back. So what is working is me pushing forward. And so if it is around like cleaning your house or eating better, one way of doing that might work. So to have someone externally see in you a different way to do things and offer that suggestion, because you might have blinders on, and I totally had blinders on that I needed to be defense, that I needed to hold that ground. But we had two other players that could really step it up in that position, and that I could move forward, which was so good, so exciting. So that like lit this like new fire, I guess, in me. So rather than relighting the fire, it's a new fire. And so I'm really thoroughly enjoying this new position. Now, the third thing that a good coach will do is hold you to a higher level. They will expect more from you. And that's something that I think everyone needs in their life. Someone who is like, okay, you're here, so let's get you here. Not let's get you way, way, way up, but let's get you one step closer, one little piece closer, right? So holding you to that higher level, but the higher level only needs to be 1% better tomorrow than it was today. It doesn't need to be a whole like 200% better. I am not tomorrow going to be this phenomenal top MVP player, but could I be better tomorrow than I was today? For sure, for sure. So I hope for you that you can look at that one thing that you're like, man, I need more motivation in that. I need, and I want to make things better in that area. And I encourage you, find someone who will give you positive feedback. Find someone who will see in you and speak into you the things that you need to hear. And find someone who will hold you to that higher level. That's the accountability piece, right? So someone that will like hold you accountable to show up and hold you accountable to do what needs to be done. Get it? Make sense? Yes. So this is kind of what was mine today, because just played a really good game. Struggled, yes, but better than last time, right? Better than last time. So for you, I just hope in 2023 or whatever, whenever you listen to this, whatever year you're in, that you are able to regain some motivation for a certain area of life, that you are able to get fired up again for something. If you want to have a conversation about this to see how I can support you, happy to do that. I do offer 15-minute consults to just see like how you fit, how could I support you, is it worth it for you? We can have a talk through, and also reminding you that right now the Dynamic program is on, and so if you are looking for some external source in order to help you to be motivated for your goals this year, to help you to actually set goals and build a dynamic year plan for you to have moving forward, so that this year you can check off more of your goals more easily with motivation and other people around you with these check-in calls that we do every quarter, then I encourage you to join. Even if it's later when you say that you want to be in, no problem. All the sessions are recorded, so you can easily catch up. It is definitely one of my signature courses, and it's something that I personally do in my professional and personal life to help me to know where I'm going and to help me to make decisions and to really support me in achieving my goals. So I encourage you to join, at least check it out, because if it could help you, even just a little bit, wouldn't it be worth looking at it? So if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, share with a friend, and write a review. And once you do, screenshot that, send it to team@dianerolston.com with your mailing address so we can send you a little something in the mail. Kind of proud of myself. Didn't cry, fought it off. And so I hope you bring the truth to your life as well as to what's going on for you. So take care. Until next time, stay dynamic.